Purim is upon us. It's the holiday season. These occurrences are not coincidental. There is an understanding that the winter chronologically mirrors a winter spiritually. It's cold and dark, and we're on our own. And we have to heat our furnaces with our own efforts. We're coming from the other holiday season, the Tishrei holiday season, which is all about tshuva, repentance, our own efforts, and we've survived the winter. Perhaps we haven't only survived the winter, we've grown from the winter. We've taken advantage of the need to heat our furnaces and keep ourselves focused to grow. But now the spring is upon us. The days are getting longer, the days are getting warmer, the sun is brighter and more direct. All of this indicates a greater presence of God in our lives. This is part of the cycle of Jewish life that's an interplay between human effort and divine contribution, divine giving, divine partnering with us. And in a way, March, Purim, this season marks the beginning of what will be the warmer, more illuminated time, which represents, in effect, God getting back into the game and giving us a little push, a prod, to move forward. And it begins in Adar. It begins in the last of the winter months. It begins, I guess, the end of February, March, when we begin to prepare for Purim. During this month, a variety of different things are going to occur that are going to reflect this thawing, this warming and brightening of our lives that marks this change in the cycle of our calendar. It begins with what's called the Dalet Parshes. During this month, we're going to read 4 special sections in the Torah on a variety of Shabbos, not necessarily consecutively, that have 4 themes. The first will deal with the half shekel. The purpose of the half shekel in biblical times, in historic times, was to donate a fixed amount of money to be a contributor to all the collective offerings brought in the Beis HaMikdash in the times of the temple. And we read this section, the Shabbos leading up to the month of Adar, and I'll get back to this in a moment. The Shabbos immediately prior to Purim, we read about our Molech, our timeless and irreconcilable foe, Amalek. Amalek, who happens to be a cousin of ours, is our arch enemy because he hates us and has no idea why. When you have an enemy and the enemy hates you for a particular reason, you can negotiate with that enemy, you can deal with that enemy, you can attempt to reconcile or to somehow make an accommodation. But when you're hated for no reason, there is no solution, there is no resolution. And Amalek hates us for absolutely no reason. He hates us because we exist. And the Shabbos before Purim, we read the biblical account of Amalek and the reminder that Amalek needs to be dealt with in the only way Amalek can be dealt with, by being erased. It sets up Purim because Purim is the story of Amalek, as we'll get to Mitzvah Hashem later on in our subsequent discussion. The third parsha that we read is about the red heifer, Para Aduma. This is read in anticipation of Pesach. Right after Purim comes Pesach, Passover, and traditionally one of the things that were done in Passover was, of course, the Passover offering, the Korban Pesach. And in anticipation of this, we read about the need to purify ourselves. In preparation for the holidays, we're reminded special times require special effort and special preparedness. And the last of the 4 portions is Parshas HaChodesh, when we read about our calendar, and we underscore the idea that our calendar begins in the spring. Although the calendar year technically begins in Tishrei, Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of our year, spiritually speaking, our calendar begins in the spring because that's when things get brighter. And the Jewish people identify themselves not by their struggles, but by the light in their lives, and accordingly, Nisan, which is the holiday in which Passover occurs, represents this brightening and this renewal and this newness of the calendar. So beginning at the very beginning of Adar, we begin to read these 4 sections, and it reminds us the winter is slowly drawing to a close. The snow and the ice is beginning to thaw, the days are lengthening, and the light is brighter and more direct, indicating that God's going to get more involved in our lives, and we must take advantage of that. The second thing that we do in conjunction with Purim is actually give a half shekel. The tradition is that on the fast of Esther, which we do the day before Purim or the Thursday before Purim, depending on the circumstance, we actually give half shekels. And many people have a custom to give half shekels for every member of their family, including their very young children. And the symbol of the half shekel, amongst other things, is the idea that no Jew is whole without another. No Jew is whole without the collaboration and partnership of God. No Jew is whole without the collaboration and partnership of a fellow Jew. And we do this on the day that we fast, the fast of Esther. And as the tradition is, the day is leading up to Purim, we have this fast. And frankly, nobody's sure exactly why we fast. This is a very strange fast. What exactly happened that justifies our fasting? There's all kinds of explanations. The bottom line is the fast that we do on the eve of Purim is extraordinary. It's special, and it commemorates not necessarily something negative, as most fasts do, but in this particular case, it actually commemorates something positive. And then we get to Purim. Purim has a theme, which I'm going to get to momentarily. But in addition to the theme of Purim, Purim also has a series of rituals. That, of course, is the trademark of Yiddishkeit, of Torah and mitzvahs, that we have a spirit, a soul, that's represented, that's put forth through a series of actions that create a body around which that soul is wrapped, enclosed, or represented. On Purim, there are 4 mitzvahs. And in chronological order, we read the Megillah, we give gifts to our friends and to poor people. The gifts we give to our friends have to be edible, and they have to be 2 items of food to 1 friend or more. And the gifts we give to the poor can be as little as a penny, to as many more poor people as possible, a minimum of 2. And Purim finishes with the Purim feast, and during that feast it is customary to drink wine to commemorate the feast of Esther, where she, of course, offered Achashverosh and Haman copious amount of the tastiest wines. And the halacha actually speaks about drinking wine until we become happy. What we wish to explore is, first of all, what is the theme, what is the spirit of Purim? And second of all, how that theme and spirit is reflected in the various mitzvot, the various rituals that we do on this day.